Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel Spinning Letters. So today I'm going to take the second part of the book summary Atomic Habits written by James Clear. So in the previous video we had already mentioned how to make a habit an integral part in our life, which is that make it obvious like cue and make it attractive. That is the second law. First law is make the habit obvious and the second law is make the habit attractive. So we are today we are diving deep into the aspects of the second law of this habit making procedure, and then we will also discuss the third and fourth laws and some extra things add on to that. So let us get into the video. So like how to make a habit attractive. So here we can see that some habits not some habits, every habit is like a dopamine driven feedback loop. So how is that going to make sense is clearly mentioned by James Clear in the book, which is that habits are a dopamine driven feedback loop. Every behavior that is highly habit forming, like taking drugs, for example, or eating junk food, etc., is associated with higher levels of dopamine. The same can be said for eating food, interacting socially, etc. So, let me dive deep into how this dopamine driven feedback is loop is being formed. So, for years, scientists assumed dopamine was all about pleasure. So, we already know that, like, dopamine is known as the happy hormone or happiness, or the hormone which give happiness. Or we usually associate dopamine with chocolate, right? Eating chocolate might boost the levels of dopamine in your brain. But what scientists are saying is that but now we know the dopamine plays a central role in many neurological processes, including motivation, learning and memory, punishment and aversion, and voluntary movement. So, dopamine is released not only when you experience pleasure, but also when you anticipate it. So, in previously it has been believed that dopamine is released only when you experience pleasure, but that's not the case. Dopamine is released even before that also, because if you if you get a happiness after achieving your goal, dopamine is not released at that moment of time. It was released way before that, when you anticipate your goal, or when you daydream, or when you think about the fruit of your work. Like, for example, if you are a student and you're dreaming about getting full A plus or getting high marks in your exam, that anticipation itself produce a dopamine. So that's the case. So it is the anticipation of a reward, not the fulfillment of it, that gets us to take action. So this is this anticipation that makes us to do the action. So right, that's it. We need to nurture our habits to get what we want, get the goals we all dreaming of. So we need to make our habits attractive, because it is the expectation of a rewarding experience that motivates us to act in the first place. So you need to make your habits attractive. Uh, then only you can follow it daily in your daily routine. So, how to make temptation bundling to make your habits more attractive? So, it's just like as I previously mentioned, it is just like habit stacking thing. You link your habit you want to achieve with a reward you daily doing daily, like, or a habit you really love to do. So there is this clear difference of want and need between habits. So like, the habit stacking plus temptation bundling formula works like this: after current habit I will habit I need, or habit after habit I need I will habit I want. So for example, getting a pedicure is habit you need. It's like an integral part of your life. Or watching a TV series is a need. So it doesn't, the habit, there is this peculiarity for the habit you need, because it doesn't need an external pressure, or it doesn't need a push from your side, because it will occur naturally, because it doesn't need any much effort from your side. You can just merely enjoy or take pleasure from your habit. So that is your guilty pleasure. That is what habit you need is all about. So make this clear distinction between habit you need and habit you want. The habit you want is something you need to work more, or for doing an assignment, or doing preparing for a test is not an easy thing. You need to work on that. So it might be a very tiring process. You might not feel to make it as a daily habit. So what you have to do is that I will only watch this TV show after I do my assignment, or I will only do my pedicure after I you know what, I prepare for the test. So it's like that. So it's this like habit stacking plus temptation bundling. You're linking your temptation with habit, like that. So your temptation is watching TV, but your habit you need to make is studying every day. So I watch this movie only after doing studying for 2 hours. So like that, you're linking your habit you want with your temptations. So that's it. Next is that the role of family and friends in shaping your habits. So we are only just describing the second law of habit formation, which is make it attractive, make a habit attractive. So a role of family and friends also play a major role in making a habit. I like an interesting quote from here, which is that a genius is not born but is educated and trained. So in literature, we have to study that about people, that individuals are not the character or the personality of individuals are not shaped, or not shaped, are not given innately. They are not they don't began their life with all their all this personality we are seeing today. So the personality of a person is influenced by the books he read, movies he watch, people he interact, so or he or she interact. So it's like that, a personality is built upon certain social environment revolving around the person. So that is it. So our family, our friends, all of them plays a major role in creating a habit, and ultimately the personality of a person, or the individuality of a person. So family and friends plays a major role. So the another thing James Clear is saying that we don't choose our earliest habits, we imitate them. For example, brushing teeth is an earliest habit we are doing on a routinely basis, right? So it is, we are merely imitating such kind of things, doing our basic things, or eating food 3 times a day, or brushing our teeth. These are all taught us from our childhood, or early stages of childhood itself. So we are merely imitating those earliest habits. But the current habits, or the new habits like studying, or working out, or reading, or dancing, everything is developed on in the later stage of our life. So for such habit, an effort from our side is required, and we are making a conscious effort to do that. But in case of earliest habits, we are merely imitating them. More than a conscious effort, we are merely imitating the same action we do on a routinely basis in case of earliest habits. So like that, we need to make our new habits an imitation too. Like we have to do it, our new habits in a routinely basis, because the new habits are the stepping stones which decide our fate in fate of our life. So there are different kinds of earliest habits, as not We imitate the habits of three groups. So the habits we imitate are divided into three, which are the close, the powerful, and the many. I think I don't think it is needed here. If you are reading the book, you can dive deep into it. So let me just move on further. So yeah, that's it. There are a lot of things we he has been saying. James Clear is saying like um, so that's it. There is a how to reprogram your brain to enjoy hard habits. So habits can be easy or habits can be hard. We definitely have to concentrate on the bad, sorry, not bad, hard habits too. So James Clear is very clearly mentioning how to reprogram your brain to enjoy hard habits. So let's get into the aspects of that statement. So you can make habits more attractive if you can learn to associate them with a positive experience. For example, um, sometimes all you need is a slight mindset shift. So imagine changing just one word. You don't have to, you get to. So you don't changing you don't have to, you get to. So you have to do it, you have to change that how to you get to. Oh, I'm experiencing this new thing, or I am experiencing a habit, I'm get to do that. I'm get used to reading a book, I'm get used to studying. It is not like a have is like more like forcing yourself doing a habit. I have to read the book, oh I have to study. It is more like a forcing. But instead, oh, I get to read, I get a chance to read this book, or I get a chance to study. Not everyone get the chance that I got. So it's a privilege, and I should make use of that privilege. That is what you should be thinking. That is a slight mind shift change James Clear is mentioning here. Instead of forcing yourself to do a habit, you need to shift your mind from I get a chance to do that. So enjoy that while doing it. So in that way, you have to change your mindset. So that's it. Once a habit has been built, the cue can prompt a craving, even if it has little to do with the original situation. So it will more like an habit. Your habit will become automatically engraved into your daily routine. So that's it. And what is the third law? Make it easy. The first law of habit formation is make it obvious. The second law is make it attractive. And the third law of habit formation is make it easy. So, inversion of third law is make it difficult. That's the case of bad habit. So inversion of first law is make it invisible. Inversion of second law is make it unattractive. Inversion of third law is make it difficult. These three inversion laws can be applied to break a bad habit, and the three major laws like make a habit obvious, make it attractive, make it easy can be applied to make a good habit. So there are ways for making a good habit and breaking a bad habit also. So that's it. Another quote I really like is that walk slowly but never backward. So you don't have to dwell in your past or dwell in your mistakes or things like that. You can walk forward in even in a slow strides or slow steps. Doesn't matter. Your steps might be fast or your steps might be slow, but it doesn't matter. The pace doesn't matter. What matters is that you don't have to dwell in your past. That's it. That is the thing we need to remember while navigating our life. So that's it. It is easy to get bogged down trying to find the optimal plan for a change. The fastest way to lose waste sorry, not waist, weight, the best program to build muscle, the perfect idea for a side hustle. We are so focused on figuring out the best approach that we never get around to taking action. So we are more like perfectionists. We are trying to get a perfect moment or perfect thing for us. Like, what is the best gym practice I can do, or what is the best book I can read. So that is, the best is the enemy of the good. So while craving perfection, you might not even do that. That is happened in my case also. So sometimes I crave perfection in such a very large extent that I might even skip the thing I need to do because it is not perfect, it is not best in my case. So I will simply skip the task I have to do. For example, while studying something, I will think I have to study everything related to this concept. That is, that is unrealistic, right? So I will think like, okay, if for example, if we are taking the example of physics, there is this something called quantum mechanics in the physics. There is this branch of physics, quantum mechanics. So I will think like, if I have to study this, I want to explore each and everything related to quantum mechanics, which is impossible because it is a, there is a hell lot of things to learn, and it cannot be done in a lifetime. So that is impossible. So what will I do? I will skip learning that topic. So that is what happening in the real life. So we will, in that extent, we crave perfection in such a manner that we will eventually we will be willing to skip our task. So that is what James Clear is trying to say. The best is the enemy of the good. If you want to do something good, do it practically. Craving for best is always going to get you in the negative side of your life. So that's it. So James Clear referred to this as the difference between being in motion and taking action. So that is the difference, being in motion and taking action. The two ideas sound similar, but they are not the same. When you are in motion, you are planning and strategizing and learning. These are all good things, but they don't produce a result. Action, on the other hand, is the type of behavior that will deliver an outcome. If you want to master a habit, the key is to start with repetition, not perfect. So that's what James Clear want to say, and that is the thing I also have to learn from him, which is that you have to repeat the habit. You cannot make your habit perfect. Like, if you want to study quantum mechanics, just uh, study within its boundaries, within its limits. Study things you can actually study. It's like, make it a repetition, do it on a routinely basis, daily basis. That is the you have to do. Don't crave for perfection. Do your habit on a daily basis, and that will eventually lead you to an outcome. Rather than being in motion, it will eventually lead you to take an action. So that's it. So how long does it actually take to form a new habit? Habit formation is the process by which behavior becomes progressively more automatic through repetition. That I already mentioned. So repeating a habit leads to a clear physical changes in the brain. Repetition is a form of change. Habit formed based on frequency, not time. So that's it. You have to do frequently. That is, here also repetition came into the picture. So you have to do, if you want to make a habit, you have to do that task in a daily basis. So that's it. So there is something called the law of least effort. So that's, we are motivated to do what is easy. So there is an enlightening quote about that. In a sense, every habit is just an obstacle to getting fit. Meditation is an obstacle to feeling calm. Journaling is an obstacle to thinking clearly. You don't actually want the habit itself. What you really want is the outcome the habit delivers. The greater the obstacle, that is, the more difficult the habit. We are Habits are just an obstacle. Like when we are meditating, we are making our mind focusing at to a one point. So that is an obstacle to feeling calm. So journaling is an obstacle to thinking clearly. We cannot think clearly. We are just pouring our random thoughts into our journal, right? But that is what makes a habit. It is these obstacles that make a habit uh, a habit that is more useful to us. So the idea behind make it easy is not to only do easy things. The idea is to make it as easy as possible in the moment to do things that pay off in the long run. You can make efforts to make it as easy as you can. It is the thing is you can make a difficult habit easy too. You don't have to uh, um, you don't have to think about, or you don't have to chase an easier way to replace the difficult habit. You just have to make that difficult habit easier. That is what James Clear is saying. So that is, if your habit is difficult, try some ways to make it much tolerable or much easier. Do not try to find another alternative or another thing to do, another easier thing to do. Like if you're you know and we can take the learning thing itself, because I'm only familiarized with learning only, so I can only take that example. So if you're taking the example of learning, watching a movie is easy, but learning is not very easy. So you can find ways, instead of watching TV at the time of learning, you can actually make short notes or make flashcards or things like that to make learning easier. So that is what James Clear is saying. Then so he's another important point. He's saying that how to achieve more with less effort. So make your habits simple and easy is more convenient. Rather than trying to overcome the friction in your life, you reduce it. That's it. Reduce the friction. When we remove the points of friction that sap our time and energy, we can achieve more with less effort. So, business is a never ending quest to deliver the same result in an easier fashion. So, that is it. For example, the purpose of resetting each room is not simply to clean up after the last action, but to prepare for the next action. So, you need to make, for example, if you clean up your room, you just don't have to think about that day itself. Like, I'm cleaning this room for today itself. Not like that. You have to think about tomorrow also. Like you are keeping the books. For example, I want to learn this book tomorrow. So I am going to uh, stack this book on top of another book, so that I can see this book tomorrow and I can remember that, oh, I have to study this book today, like that. So you are arranging your books you need to study tomorrow within your reach, within near your reach, or closer to the end of the table, like that. So in case of arranging a room, you don't have to, you only, instead of thinking about it, that about today, you have to think about tomorrow also. So that's it. So there are many ways to prime your environment so it's ready for immediate use. If you want to cook a healthy, that's this is the concept I have been mentioning now itself. So this is about gearing up for your future, for your tomorrow. That is James Clear is mentioning. So we can look into this example. There are many ways to prime your environment so it's ready for immediate use. If you want to cook a healthy breakfast, place the skillet on the stove, set the cooking spray on the counter, and lay out any plates and utensils you will need the night before. When you wake up, making breakfast will be easy. So, do the preparation for your next day's work in the previous night itself. So that's it. That's what James Clear is saying. Gear up or make preparations for your next day also. That's it. We are more familiar with that, right? We have seen our mothers doing that, or we ourselves might be doing in case of kitchen work, right? We might cut up the vegetables, or we will you know arrange the masala packets and things like that the day before the overnight itself, and the next day will be easier for you to make breakfast or lunch or things like that by your the by the arrangements you made in the previous night itself. So that's it. So, in short, what James Clear is saying that reduce the friction associated with good behavior. When friction is low, habits are easy. So, friction means obstacles. You have to reduce the obstacles. You have to make your habit easy. So, increase the friction associated with bad behavior. When friction is high, habits are difficult. So, that's it. So, that's it. There is one thing called 2 minute rule, which is I think it's a lot. I don't know how I will complete this in 30 minutes. That's the thing. There's a lot of things James Clear is saying. Like, let me skip it all. This 2 minute rule is very important. So, when you start a new habit, it should take less than 2 minutes to do. So, for example, read before bed each night. So, you're taking like 2 minutes. Like, read one page. That itself is only needed. You only need to like 2 or 5 minutes, so you will read one page. Do 30 minutes of yoga becomes take out my yoga mat. So it's like you need that 2 minute to get into the real habit. Like, if you're trying to do a 30-minute yoga session, you can use your 2 minutes to take the yoga mat every day, and that will propel you to do the actual habit. Or if you want to read a whole book, at least do the effort to read that some portion in within a 2 minutes. That will propel you to do reading a book on a daily basis. So that is just take action, even if it is for 2 minutes. Take action. That is what 2 minute rule is saying all about. So that's it. So a habit must be established before it can be improved. So that is 2 minutes or 5 minutes. You have to establish a habit in a daily basis. Repeat that habit. Repetition is the god of habit, which is repeat your habits even if it takes only some time, and then eventually you can increase the time limit, right? Time boundaries. So in that way you can make a habit. So that's it. So that is it. The fourth law is of behavior change is make it satisfying. So make it satisfying. That's it. So there are two types of environment, like rewards. So we are trying to dive deep into the fourth law of behavior change, or to make a process of making a habit, which is that make it satisfying. How to make it satisfying? By getting the reward we crave for, we can make it more satisfying. So there is this mismatch between immediate and delayed rewards. So there are two types of environment: immediate return environment, in which there is an instant result, or delayed return environment, the in which result is delayed. So that's it. So the world has changed much in recent years, but human nature has changed little. So we have this primitive instincts to us that is still in our system, still in our brain, engraved upon us. But the world has changed a lot. The surroundings around us are totally different from the primitive circumstances, but still our brain has this primitive elements to it. So after thousands of generations in an immediate return environment, our brain evolved to prefer quick payoffs to long-term ones. So in a more than getting a long-term reward, we are always craving for quick reward or quick result. So that's it. Um So you value the present more than future. The consequences of bad habits are delayed while the rewards are immediate. That is what is more important about a bad habit. We know that in our country or in our state, this usage of drugs or UK usage of such things like very MDMA or things like that have been very much increased in recent times. So, because why are people or students are looking out for drugs? Because their reward is immediate, but their consequences are very delayed, like in they will going to be affected by the after effects of using a drug in the later stage of their life, but the reward of using it is an immediate reward. So that is it, that is what drives them to do that. So what that is about a bad habit. With our bad habits, the immediate outcome usually feels good, but the ultimate outcome feels bad. With good habits, it is the reverse. The immediate outcome is unenjoyable, but the ultimate outcome feels good. So the cardinal rule of behavior change is that what is immediately rewarded is repeated, what is immediately punished is avoided. So that is it. Success in nearly every field requires you to ignore an immediate reward in favor of a delayed reward. That is it. You have to go look into your long run. So that is it. How to turn instant gratification to your advantage. The vital thing in getting a habit to stick is to feel successful. Reinforcement ties your habit to an immediate reward, which makes it satisfying when you finish. So, example, one of his reader and wife, I don't know who is this him is mentioning here. I think maybe someone of James Clear, someone who is an acquaintance of James Clear, maybe. So one of his reader and wife wanted to stop eating out so much and start cooking together more. They labeled their savings account trip to Europe. So whenever they skipped going out to eat, they transferred $50 into the account. At the end of the year, they put the money toward the vacation. So like that. So just make some little treats for you, or make a goal for your future, and you can so that you can repeat your habit. So, how to stick with good habits every day? The best way to measure your progress is with a habit tracker. So, benefits of habit trackers. Habit tracking is obvious. Habit tracking keeps you honest when the evidence is right in front of you. You are less likely to lie yourself. Habit tracking is attractive. Each small win feeds your desire. So, keep track on your habits. So habit tracking is satisfying. That is, keep track on your habits. That is what James Clear is saying. And also, an accountability partner is also one thing James Clear is saying. I have a friend who is we we both of us actually track our habits and track our progress each day. So like that, keep an accountability partner for you. You both can benefit from tracking your habits. Like that, the other person will track your habit and you will track the other person's habit, so that you can measure the progress, or you can measure the you can measure the negative sides, or you can measure the positive sides. In that way you can reinforce each other. So like that, keep an accountability partner, which is very useful. So find a person who can actually deal with your daily routine. So like that, that's it. So that is more about the how to make a habit. That is this crux of this book. So how to make a habit is that, how to make a behavior, how to change our behavior is that, make it obvious, make it attractive. Then the third is that, make it make it easy, and then also make it satisfying. So that's it. So satisfying in the sense that, make some short-term goals so that you will be more motivated to do more for your future. So, some, like, as I mentioned earlier, for his one of his James Clear's acquaintance made a money box to what, to collect money for their trip to Europe, and at the end of the year they made a trip to Europe by saving their money while skipping eating out in restaurants or things like that. So you can skip some bad habits and make it make your time useful for your good habits. So that's it. Make some short term goals so that you can it can be motivating, or the reward can be motivating for your other future goals, or your goals that requires a delayed reward. So in that way you can make it satisfying. So these are the four rules how to change your behavior. That's it. That's about this book, Atomic Habits, the summary of this book, Atomic Habits. I hope you enjoyed it. If you enjoyed this video, then do like, share, and subscribe to my channel, Spinning Letters. So thank you.